Hey, what's up guys, my name's Sam. I'm a photographer and filmmaker based here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I've got something fun and exciting for you in this video. I mean, all videos are fun and exciting, but this one in particular is quite interesting because as you can tell from the title of the video, we're going to be doing some street photography with the RF 800mm F11 and the Canon EOS R5. I've never shot with this particular setup before, particularly the lens, and so it's going to be quite interesting. And what we're going to be doing in this video is that we're going to be doing a POV session, and then we're going to be talking about, at the end of the video, some of my experiences and thoughts using this lens. But without further ado, let's just go straight into the streets. Okay, what's up guys? So we are in PJ right now. We're at an LRT station, so we're just trying out the camera, trying out the lens, kind of figuring out what to do. And the first thing we did as we got off the LRT, off the train, is we saw a bunch of people on the opposite side of all the way to the other side. We saw this old couple and we decided to try our first shot, and the minute we saw it at the back of the screen, we were already like, oh my god, what the hell, we can see so far. So I was a little bit shy when using this telephoto lens, so I kind of had Elli just stand in front as if I was shooting here, and I was actually shooting some people behind. And you'll see me use this a lot in this video. I explained this towards the end of the video in the explanation part, but generally I was a little bit more conscious of shooting street photography with the telephoto lens, and that's why I needed her help. Elli, you just wait here. Look at me. Wait, move back. Okay. So we were walking through this back alley and we saw this guy unloading stuff from his van, and I was just trying to test out the shots, just trying to get one, trying to get in his motion. I should have took a portrait version, and I did take a portrait version after that, but I kind of like missed the moment where he was coming out from the truck. I would have preferred if I took this portrait shot as he was coming out versus as he was going in somewhere else. And as we were walking around this home area, we saw this guy walking towards his car, and he just so happened to be looking at me, and I snapped this shot of him as he was looking. One thing you'll notice that the bokeh on this lens is really blurry despite just being an f11, and obviously it's because of the extreme telephoto. And this one is Elli, she's taking over, and as the guy was walking down, I needed to help her hold because it was a little bit too long and a little bit too shaky. So I tried to get the crowd across once again. I was a bit conscious of people looking at me, and I was just snapping away at the crowd. You can see the compression on this image is just so intense. Like they're just like, even though they're standing far apart from each other, it looks like they're standing right next to each other. Look at you. And in this situation, this is a shot that I've always been wanting to get, but I think I've never had a long lens enough. And I wish the sky was a little bit brighter on that day. It was very gloomy, but I've always wanted to get a shot of silhouettes of people walking by this bridge, and finally I got it, especially like with the one in the cap. I think it's a lot more defined, although I wish that there were no trees, but this is my favorite shot from this. Whoa! You just walk. There's an auntie coming. Okay. Now you turn around. You can see due to the length, the focal length, her face just like flattened out, which is not really appealing. It's something I don't like.
I think right, you get better hair to do.
Yeah, definitely. You can see once again the bokeh on the back, really nice and smooth, so something that I really like about this lens. And this one, I saw somebody looking at me through the train, and I just got a shot. And as we got off the LRT station, here the light started to come back a bit. The sun was setting and the clouds cleared up. So I just grabbed this all the way to the other side. It kind of, the shadows make it look like it's a person there, so I thought that was very interesting when I saw it. And as we were walking, I saw the patterns on the apartment building as the light was going through, and this is probably one of my favorite shots as well. Very clean, symmetrical image, and particularly one of my favorites from this shoot. The next two images are my favorite because they give the most context to the scene. You can see people walking, you can see the cars, you can see a little bit of the houses, and I decided to take a portrait mode as well, just to give, just to make it look a little bit cleaner. And I love the compression on this shot. Here you go. Careful, So welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that POV, and as you can tell, we also had a lot of fun. Just to think about it, at 800mm walking, hand holding on the streets. I mean, like, to think about it right now, it's just crazy. But at the same time, it's so amazing to think how far technology has come, and it's really a testament to how the RF line has really opened up a lot of new possibilities for photographers from different kinds of genres to shoot with lenses that generally, you know, people had to spend tons of money on and really had to break your back just to use it. So in this segment, I want to talk about a couple of my thoughts and experience shooting with this setup for street photography. And I do want to say this, my personal style of street photography is using wide angle lenses. My personal favorite lens is the 35mm because I can really get up close and personal to the shot, and I can provide more context with a wider angle lens versus like just, you know, versus using telephoto lenses. And the one thing that you notice with all the shots from this POV today with the 800mm is that, to me, these are very bad shots, very bad street photos, and the main reason for that is because it provides zero context. If you didn't have the POV, you wouldn't know where I am. And in my opinion, that's the problem with shooting telephoto lenses for street photography, because you are so, your field of view is so narrow and you're only focusing on the subject. It doesn't give you context to where the person is. It doesn't tell the story. You shoot one person walking on the road, it's like, okay, and so what? What's so interesting about this person? You're shooting like a close-up headshot of the person, but where is this person in the context of the story and the place? You know, if you blur out the background so much, like you don't even know where the person is, it doesn't tell a compelling story on the streets. The idea of street photography is the, you know, this unexpected. You want to see what's going on in real life. You want to see the context of where that person is, and that is why for me a lot of these shots didn't really work out to my taste, because they were plain boring. And it's not because like the composition and all, it's just the fact that you're using a telephoto lens that just restricts the amount of context that you can give in the scene while making sure that your subject is at least the most prominent in the frame. First, I want to talk about the easiest thing to talk about, and that is the camera. The R5 definitely is a fantastic camera for street photography. However, it is very limiting using this lens, and particularly the reason for that is because your focus points are only constricted to the center. Yes, the R5 does have autofocus points across the entire sensor and across the entire screen that you can touch. However, when you're using this lens, it's only limited to that small center box, so you can't really like pose your subject to the side, or you can't compose your subject to like an awkward space unless you focus and recompose. As you guys probably know, 800mm is an insane focal length to shoot with, and I think these super telephoto lenses give you one thing that no other lenses can give, and that it gives you a new look and perspective into things that you probably will never see in real life. I mean, to think that I can stand from one side all the way across to the other side from the highway and actually see somebody's facial expression, see the details in their faces and their hands and what they're doing is just mind-blowing to me. It's so crazy to see at the back of the screen from the distance. It was quite an interesting experience for us to actually shoot with an 800mm because it just brought this new perspective that we would never see with our normal eyes. I want to talk about the weight of the lens. It's about like 1.2 kg, I think. It's still not a light lens, but for what it is, it was actually really easy to carry around. I mean, like, it's hard to describe how amazing it is to hold an 800mm and carry it comfortably on the street. So it has this clutch mechanism where you have to unlock it, pull it open, lock it back, then only you can start shooting with the lens. And I found this really interesting because it's actually very easy to do with one hand. After a while, even though it's my first time shooting with it, after a while it just came second nature to quickly just open it and close it. And that was very interesting for me because when you extend the lens, it does make it a little bit longer, but when you're not using it, what you can do is you can actually just close it back and put it back in and then just tuck it under your hand. And why this is important for me is because I was particularly very conscious when I was shooting with this super telephoto lens. For me, I'm comfortable shooting with 1DX Mark III and a 35mm on the streets and not worry about people looking at me. But when I was shooting with this telephoto lens, I was a little bit more conscious about this for some reason. And I think the main reason was that for most people, when they see a long lens, it looks like you're spying on somebody. So I was very conscious about that people were thinking about me like that. So it really helped when I could just make the lens profile a lot smaller, close it down, just put it at the side of my arm and then just walk around. And then when I see a shot, just take it out, open, shoot, close it back and then put it back down. Now I shot this lens wide open and it's just funny to think like you're shooting wide open but you're shooting at F11. It's a bit funny to think about. And as you can see from a lot of the shots in the POV, you can actually get a lot of background blur if you know what you're doing and if you know how to position the subject or move around. And that actually leads to my last point, and that is you do need to practice when you're using super telephoto lenses. Shooting with an extreme telephoto lens is actually very, very difficult and it's not as easy as a lot of people think. And the main reason for this is because the field of view is so tight that you cannot really see where your subject is. So what I mean by this is you can actually see with your eyes where the subject is, but when you're pointing the lens towards the person or whatever you want to shoot, it's actually hard to tell where it is because of such tight, you don't have a lot of room to kind of see where everything is in the shot. So I found a lot of times very hard to compose my images because I couldn't find my subject. I was just like trying to, hey, where is the person? Oh, right, he's there. Okay, then I got it. But because of how tight it is, it's just very hard to see beyond the frame, and it just makes it hard for you to compose. And once again, it's just all about practice. It was a big challenge for me to shoot with this on the street, but I'm still happy with some of the results. I do hope to try this a lot more with what I know already, and hopefully I can get much better shots. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun shooting with this lens despite it not being something I normally want to shoot with. I prefer, once again, wide angle lenses, but it was something different, something I wanted to try different, and that's the whole idea about photography. You know, it's about experimenting, having fun, trying out new things, and especially when new gear does allow you to do it, especially with this 800 F11. Just thinking about it still blows my mind. It's a lot more interesting. Photography becomes a lot more interesting because it opens up a lot more creative options for us. So yeah, if you like this video and you find it helpful, do leave a like, subscribe and comment. It really helps out the channel a lot. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all the support that everybody has been giving me. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.